all set up here? Welcome back, everyone. Good morning. So, in the last video, it seems like there's been a lot of people that have been really interested, and have been, to be quite honest, for a long time. They've been really interested in my personal political philosophies, where I stand. Are you a leftist? Are you a right-leaning person? Are you a socialist? Are you a communist? What are you? Are you Democrat? Are you Republican? I personally do not like labels like that. I try and stay away from them. Here's the thing, is that I try to look at political philosophies, economic philosophies, as much as I can from a outsider's perspective. I'm not intrinsically against, like, the Republican Party. I'm not against the Democratic Party. I don't really want to vote for either. I don't want to vote Democrat or Republican. But that's the options on the table. So I don't have anything against, like, Democrats, Republicans, libertarians. I have nothing against them personally. And I don't really mind here in the United States, we live in a constitutional republic. I don't have anything against that. I don't have anything against democracy, democratic systems. I generally like things that maximize freedom and limit authoritarianism, generally speaking. There's a lot of problems with authoritarianism that I seem to run into, and it's just not anything that's authoritarian, totalitarian. It's just seems like it would be hard to really substantiate yourself and truly be able to feel like you can be free to be yourself. So it's not something that I'm really interested in. And also from, like, a nihilistic aspect, it's hard to put my faith or belief in any kind of government system. They all sort of tend to gravitate towards wanting more power and more authority over the people and the populace. It just seems like it's an ongoing war or platform of a power struggle. A struggle for dominancy and power. And that's just not something I'm into. Now, I say I'm a domesticated anarchist, and that's really kind of meant to be enigmatic in and of itself, and, bizarre, like, hard to define. And the reason I say that is because I like the idea of a utopian anarchy, but I'm an adult enough to understand that is a pipe dream of mine. That is an idealistic dream that I have. It's never going to work. It's not going to happen. A utopian anarchy is just not going to work because the majority of the human species is just not mature enough to take on not only self-accountability but responsibility to make that kind of system work. It's not going to happen. And you've always got that jackass out there that's like, I've got to impose my will on other people. I've got to kill this person. I've got to rape, murder, molest, whatever the case is. It's like, these are things that is, in a sense, imposing one's will on others against their own will. So, it's not going to happen. So that's why, I like democracy systems, or the constitutional republic that we live in, because you can be free to have this idea of limited restrictions, maximizing freedoms, and less authoritarianism without any problem. Just the other day, Like I'm getting off topic. I'm sorry. This is just freelance, non-scripted. So, it would appear that we have a little recruiting officer in my comment section. Everybody on my channel knows him quite well, and I do too. And he's fun to have around. I don't mind. I don't give a shit. I'm a domesticated anarchist. What makes you think I give a shit? As long as he's not hurting anyone, I don't fucking care. So, Chick Macon, he keeps talking about fascism. Fascism's a really good idea. Well, I could give you a menagerie of reasons why fascism is a terrible idea. And most people know it's a bad idea. And the thing is that they go around with all this propaganda. And, I mean, I hate to tell you, Chick Macon, it's just like the people, the fascists throughout history, they've never been really good at keeping their word. They just haven't. They've not been good on holding their word. I mean, look at the propaganda. I mean, you tell me, oh, we're not gonna kill the homosexuals. Why would anyone want to do that? We're not gonna kill the gays. We just want them to go back in the closet. Or not really that, but, not be so public. But what? No, we wouldn't kill them. Of course not. Yeah, it's bullshit, okay? If fascists actually won dominant power over the country, they would... I mean, I know they would. They would. I personally cannot rationalize killing somebody for debauchery. I can't rationalize that. Like, for instance, the other day, I saw a forum about bareback, which is unprotected sex. And there was this guy in there that was, like, talking about the red bumps on his cock. And talking about, like, giving it to other people and being infected with various STDs and giving it to people. And I can't rationalize killing him, but I will say this, like, sharing is not caring in this instance. Most people don't want your STD, regardless of what it is. And I'm not gonna say what I think of, like, should happen to him, because YouTube wouldn't be very favorable of that opinion. But let's just say that he gets what he deserves, and I don't really have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna do it to himself, so fuck it. And unfortunately, the rest of the people out there, just have to be careful and mindful of individuals like that. You're going to have people like that. So you have to be cautious and know that there are people out there that will try to do this kind of thing. And so just assume that they are until evidence is proven otherwise, like, empirical evidence. Not, no, I don't have anything. No, I want to see paperwork. Because this is exactly why a utopian anarchy won't work, is people like that. But honestly, like, I don't care if somebody's like taking their shit and rolling it up into little balls and eating it. I mean, that's disgusting. That's fucking gross. I don't condone that, but I can't rationalize killing somebody over debauchery, being like, well, you're gross and disgusting, we should kill you. I can't rationalize that. That doesn't sound like an ethical position. No, I can't rationalize doing that. Now, if it's performing harm onto other people, okay, yeah, I can rationalize stopping it, but as we've seen time and time again, the death penalty, death sentences do not really deter crime. I don't think anything really truly does. So I think people who are endangerments to others should be kept away from the rest of society. That's one thing people forget about anarchy. Anarchism is the absence of government, not society. Okay. But I think that dangerous people should go to jail, prison, to be kept away from the rest of society where people can get along in a civilized manner without hurting each other for no fucking reason. Because really, there really is no reason. Can't give me a rational, logical explanation as to hurt someone unless it's in self-defense, and that's it. That's all there is. That's all there is. So, I'm going to go to this other camera. Hopefully this works out. Camera number 2. And I'm going to show some memes and some sort of like part of the reason why it's hard for me to put my faith or belief into any system of government has to do with nihilism. And I mean, I could sit and deny that I'm a nihilist all I want, but I think the writing's on the wall on that one. I think even if I said, no, I'm not a nihilist, I think a lot of people would be like, yeah, you are kind of a nihilist. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I think I probably am. I don't know. You be the judge. So, I've got these articles, these things about nihilism, and I'm going to sort of walk you through sort of where my mindset is on politics. And, I mean, keep in mind, like, I will look at economics and criticize, regardless if it's a leftist economic theory or a right-leaning economic theory, because both sides have economic theories that just don't work. Increasing the minimum wage, that doesn't work. That creates inflation based on the current capitalist system that we have. That's a bad idea. Trickle-down economics, that doesn't work either. That just, I mean, you can give more money to the top 1%, but all they do is sit on it. Show me evidence of the contrary, please. But it just doesn't seem to work. They keep saying it does. I haven't seen any evidence that it does. I think it makes Wall Street look good, but I don't think it helps the working class at all. Period. Alright, so, I mean, and it depends on what you want. If you want free market capitalism, then you gotta get rid of the crony capitalism and the communist capitalism that exists within the top 1% that seems to be ruling the economy. And I do have to say, like, I do have a problem with communism. And I could give you 1,000 examples of why fascism is a bad idea or why I don't like it. Why I personally don't like it. That's one political ideology that I can't just be like, well, you know, it's just a different ideology. That's one that I can't do. Can't. And most people, I think, are in the same boat. And I think people really only jump on the fascist bandwagon if they're truly fascist. Or I think most people, though, get kind of brainwashed into thinking it's a good idea. So why don't we go ahead and go over to camera number 2 now. All right, so let me dig up the first one on nihilism. All right, so this is a cute little meme, but it's about Friedrich Nietzsche, who had a lot of existentialist philosophy. He himself was not a nihilist, supposedly, but he is a philosopher that talked the most about it. So in this little meme, he says, existence is meaningless. We are pawns in an absurd contest of slavery and degradation. If one cannot live with pride, one should die with pride. And so this first little thought bubble right here, existence is meaningless. We are pawns in an absurd contest of slavery and degradation. That feels like the truth to me. It really does. So, this is why, like, when it comes to things like government systems, this is what I mean when I say it all just seems like a power struggle. It's just some seem to be varyingly worse than others. Like, anything that is totalitarianism is out of the question for me. It's just not something I want to be a part of. And, you know, you've got, you know, the little recruiter chick Micken in there jumping on every libertarian that comments in my comment section like he's trying to recruit them. I don't think that's gonna work. I think most people understand, like especially libertarians. I don't think they're going to jump on that bandwagon. And while, yeah, I do agree that being held at the mercy of a major conglomerate corporation is pretty fucked. I don't think fascism should be the answer or solution to that. That's just even more fucked. So no, I don't think so. And it is the ultimate epitome of that meme that, you know, existence is meaningless. We are pawns in an absurd contest of slavery and degradation. Fascism is the epitome of that. And actually, I gave him a quote. Well, it's a poem by the Mephisto Walz, a goth rock band. It's a nice poem. It's basically, it almost seems like if you're a nihilist, you must have to be sort of quasi-anarchist, because it's like I said, it's hard to put faith in any kind of system of power. Now, granted, we're never going to escape a system of power because we're social creatures and we desire and gravitate towards some sort of system of hierarchy. Very little human beings are self-reliant, or, I mean, like, I don't need structure. A lot of people do need structure. I don't. I can be very, very independent and look at the things that I need to get done and get them done of my own free fruition. So not everyone is like that. Totally understandable. But that's kind of my stance. So, like, I'm going to read this quote. So, and sinuous coil and heartless toil, and sinuous course, and armored force, and savage harms that yield to charms, and all these things are snakes like kings, uneven, rough, and high enough, yet low folk roam their flanks as home, and wild things haunt them, hungry, gaunt, and all these things are snakes like kings, and savage harms that yield to charms uneven, rough, and high enough, in sinuous, coarse, and armored force. And all these things are snakes like kings. The things that claw and the things that gore are unreliable things, and so is a man with a sword in his hand, and rivers, and women, and kings. So, is this poem written by an anarchist or a nihilist? It's hard to tell almost. There's a lot of people that are very, very hyper-focused on political philosophy. They look right past the philosophy of nihilism that exists within it. So basically this is saying that, okay, so we are in a system, a meaningless system, where we are all pawns in an absurd contest of slavery and degradation. That's what this poem is saying. So we are in this. And the person, in this case, in this poem, is kings. They are the ones that are imposing the slavery and degradation and forcing the power and the will onto the people. And, you know, the low folk roam their flanks as home. So some people are going to be like, oh, they're a communist. Or, oh, they're an anarchist. Okay, but this is really actually more nihilistic. Because it's saying, you know, and all these things are snakes like kings. So is a man with a sword in his hand, and rivers, and women, and kings. All the things that claw and the things that gore are unreliable things. Meaning, you might think you wield the sword of justice, but you are no better, and you are playing into the game of the power struggle that is the meaninglessness that we are all pawns in an absurd contest of slavery and degradation. So even if you think that you are a revolutionary, and you take up the righteous sword of justice and stand against the oppressive king, you are just as oppressive, and you are playing the power game. So is it nihilistic or anarchistic? Because it sounds like nihilism to me. It sounds like no matter what you do, we are stuck in this. And then, like I said, there's a thing in philosophy, the untapped potential, or potentialism. What we are capable of doing as a human species versus what we are actually doing. We have the brain capacity to do so much more than what we do, but yet we never do it because it is an untapped potential. What do? You can't control people. All you can do is put your voice out there and try to persuade. To this day, no one has been able to prove me wrong on this, that violence is merely the primitive reaction to that which you cannot control. Even in an instance of self-defense, which is highly rational, you can rationalize that. That's logical. That makes sense. Self-defense. Survival. So, but it's still a primitive reaction, fight or flight, responds to that which you cannot control. Somebody trying or something trying to kill you is not within your control. You can't control the other individual's actions that they are trying to put onto you. All you can do is try to avert those actions. So, I mean, chick, it's right there. I mean, No. Yeah, fuck the major corporations. Fuck the top 1%. No, the top 1% are not all Jewish people. DuPont is not Jewish. All right? No, they're not. The Koch brothers, Coca-Cola, are you kidding me? They used to fund the fucking Nazis. Disney, Walt Disney, he funded the Nazis. They're not Jewish. In fact, Walt Disney has been pretty fucking anti-Semitic over the years. So, no, the top 1% is not just a bunch of Jewish people. That's weird. That's crazy. Like, look at facts. Reality. Not what you want reality to be. That's whatever you want reality to be. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I'm not trying to hate on you, man. It's just believe what you believe, okay? Just don't hurt people. I don't even care if you sit in my comment section and say a bunch of wretched, horrid things. That doesn't faze me. That doesn't hurt me. I mean, does it faze or hurt you if I say I have a hole in my soul and I want to feel the hot holy come of Jesus Christ deep inside me? Does that really offend you that much? Is it really that shocking? Really? Probably not. So another thing that I found interesting is that I thought that, because there seems to be this brotherhood, this commingling of people who subscribe to anarchistic sort of philosophies or nihilistic anarchistic philosophies that have joined with communist Marxists. And it's like, well, that's bizarre. The reason why that's bizarre is there's one anarchist philosopher that said, what difference does it make if it's a aristocratic, aristocracy that is, or a monarchy, whatever, that is ruling over the people, or if it's a marginalized class, whether it's a marginalized class or a aristocratic class, it's still a group of people telling you how they think you should live your life. And no. So that was the criticism of an anarchist philosopher that I found. So then I found this article as well. And this sort of says it. Okay, so Marxism, like anarchism, came out of movements for democracy, socialism, and working class liberation. Its goals were for a free, cooperative, classless, stateless, and non-oppressive society. Yet Marxism ended up establishing totalitarian, mass murdering, state capitalist regimes. This is the paradox of Marxism. The paradox of stateless. Oh, sorry. No, it is. This is the paradox of Marxism. Why did this happen? An attempt to analyze this is made in this new book by Ron, blah, 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 blah. I'm not reading that. There is a paradox to Marxism, a central contradiction. Like anarchism, it originated in the 19th century movements for democracy, socialism, and working class liberation. Its stated goals were to were the end of capitalism, of classes, of the state, and of all other oppressions. Hundreds of millions of workers, peasants, and others have mobilized under its program. aiming for a better world. But what was the result? The first Marxist movement resulted in the social democratic parties of Europe and elsewhere. These ended up supporting capitalism and opposing revolutions. They support the existing state, bourgeoisie democracy, and Western imperialism and its wars. Currently, they have abandoned all pretense of advocating a new social system. Lenin, Trotsky, and others sought to return the revolutionary Marxism. Their activities resulted in Stalinism, a series of monstrous state capitalist tyrannies which killed millions of workers and peasants and thousands of communists. Currently, these have collapsed into traditional capitalism. I think we know about all this. Ron's conclusion is Marxism, as I now see it, is a totalitarian doctrine, and every attempt to implement the Marxian program, no matter how well-intentioned, will lead to the creation of authoritarian and state-dominated, if not totalitarian, societies. Marxism's basic totalitarianism, he claims, is especially rooted in its program to use the state to establish socialism and in its Hegelian-derived philosophy. I don't know if I fucking said that right. I don't know what that word is. I've never seen it before. Totalitarian is a somewhat controversial, okay, but so, I mean, there's lots of anarchists that have critiqued communism, because, as I said, even if it was done right, you still got like a marginalized group of people telling you what to do. But as a nihilist, it's like, well, I don't know that you can ever really obtain a utopian anarchy, and we're sort of stuck in this system of kings and righteous men and women wielding swords in their hands, trying to create a revolution, and then creating a system of oppression, and then it rinse and repeat. But one thing I do want to stay away from, I will lean more towards democratic systems, which that's what a republic basically is. It's a hybrid democracy. It's democracy fixed. Because the problem that is cited quite often to me about democracy is that an entire population could be complete fucking idiots, and not mob mentality is not always right. So, hence, a constitutional republic, with an attempt to try and protect marginalized groups, to try and give them somewhat of a voice. So, I aspire towards systems that maximize freedom and limit the amount of authority. Now, when you talk about economics, that's where it gets interesting, because if you say, I want to pay the government to put money aside so that if I become disabled or something, hopefully not, but should that happen, it would be nice to know that there is a social safety net of money where they can say, okay, well, you've paid this money into the system, so the system will now take care of you. Okay. It's not about free, and I'm trying to think of how it was said to me. And I found how it was said to be very interesting. Because it's not what I think of when I hear it, or when I say it. Let me find it.